The Lonely Street by William Carlos Williams. School is over. It is too hot to walk at ease. At ease in light frocks they walk the streets to while the time away. They have grown tall. They hold pink flames in their right hands. In white from head to foot, with sidelong, idle look. In yellow, floating stuff, black sash and stockings, touching their avid mouths, with pink sugar on a stick. Like a carnation each holds in her hand, they mount the lonely street.
Folks, welcome here today because we have a very, very, very special guest, Dylan Olds, right here. This young man, he does a lot of things. He's in some very, very cool bands, particularly Pickle and Bean.
I'm in Pickle and Bean.
In his spare time, has put together a very interesting building block series about guitar. First time I clicked on it, it just said something about, kind of learn how to improvise. And it's a YouTube series, right? Yeah.
It's a YouTube series that I started that I really just wanted to give tools to people that are just starting the guitar to how they can just pick up the guitar and just start playing some cool stuff without needing to know a whole bunch of information, right? So
Right.
it presents the information in a very small, limited package and gives people kind of a playground to mess around with and hopefully play some cool music.
And playground is a very good, meaningful term in this way because uh, when Dylan first got into playground and music, you didn't start off as a kind of acoustic guy, right?
I did not. I did not. I had a green mohawk and I was playing bass in a couple of punk bands.
There you go.
And I was more interested in being loud than being in tune.
Okay.
And so,
That's rock and roll.
so that's how I partied for about 10 years or whatever. And then slowly but surely, the first time I thought that maybe I was going to want to do something different, I had heard this gentleman named Mississippi John Hurt.
Oh.
And if anybody has ever heard Mississippi John Hurt, his voice and his playing is what like a warm hug. It's just such beautiful and just warm music, And I really liked his style of playing and him and of course Lightin Hopkins, which are kind of two polar opposites of the blues genre. And then I just started kind of going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Your mohawk kind of grows out,
It grows out. It grows out.
less green.
It's yeah, it's less
For a
green.
while.
Yeah, for a while.
Did you have mentorship to kind of find those styles? Or you
I
just did it
did.
on your own?
I did. So I was like 22 years old, and I was like, okay, well, I want to really learn how to do this thing. And so I called this guy. I believe his name was Mike over at the Folk Music Center
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
Claremont.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike if you're watching this.
Yeah.
And I called him. I called him first day and didn't leave a message, and he didn't call me back. And I called him second day and nothing. And then I called him on the third day and I left him a message, and I was basically just like, hey, listen, dude, I want to learn how to play this style, and you're the only guy that I've heard can teach me this. So
Right.
you need to call me back. And then he did, and I took lessons for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after that, just I've been doing this for. I've been playing like this for maybe 15 years or so
All right. All
at
right.
this point. So
Right. But there's this authenticity to your sound. I saw you at the local library shows they had, and you were playing with this other band. I just heard you play a solo, and they were kind of doing like wash tub thing, but you're playing electric.
oh yeah.
And I just heard you play like one part of the solo, and I go, that guy, he's authentic. He's got a feel for what to do here. And so it was interesting because I could just feel not only what you played, but kind of who you are in that playing.
I really appreciate you saying that. Because my whole philosophy is I don't really ever know what I'm gonna play. I really have a hard time with playing the same thing twice.
Sure.
Not that I'm against that. It's something I really struggle with, and so that's why improvisation and really just like what does Dylan sound like is always kind of at the forefront of my thought process.
Well, if folks go to your YouTube channel, the first, I think I saw one of the first handful of ones that you did because it talked about kind of building blocks and improvisation. And what's fun about these short pieces is that it is fun. I mean, people take music. There's lots of different ways to enter into the spirit of music, and it is. There is a bit of a grind. The first people you hear, oh, I got a guitar, and why don't you play this guitar anymore? But it hurt my fingers.
My fingers
fingers hurt.
It sounds bad. I tuned it last week.
Right, and
Yeah.
there is some regimen to be at whatever level of musician you're going to be, but you still got to play yourself.
Mhm.
And what's really cool about your series is that there's an understanding that you're just asking people to come into the playground. You used that
Mhm.
phrase before.
Yeah.
Come into this playground, and find yourself in there.
Mhm.
But you have, on one level, I mean, there's lots of very practical tips. There's a color chart goes by, or there's some graphics that are up
Right.
there. But you keep it simple.
Thank you for saying that. The entire focus was to give people only enough information that is needed to get them off and running, right? So you're
Yeah.
talking about people are like, oh, my fingers hurt, right? Well,
Right.
my fingers don't, I don't really care about my fingers hurting if I'm having a good time,
No.
right? And so, how can I present this information in a way where people are allowed to just be explorative and have their own good time, right?
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's just been the entire focus of it.
Right.
And really, I am a firm believer in if you cannot explain a complex idea in a very simple manner, then maybe you don't understand the concept as well as maybe you think you did.
It was just today that I saw the Lightin Hopkins one. It says,
Mhm.
You want to play like Lightin Hopkins. And it's like, I love Lightin Hopkins. One of my favorite Les Blanc films is about Lightin Hopkins. And it, he's just this angular, he's like a little ball of fire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of that thing, you and I was, picking up, that is that feel. You've
Mm.
broken that down. Well, we're not all Lightin Hopkins, but we
Mm-mm.
can be a little bit. You have share a little of his spirit.
Yeah. Really just kind of do a little bit of your own interpretation of his language on the guitar, right? And
Right.
and I'm not against like learning specific licks or whatever, but I must have looked up 8,000 videos about learning 10,000 licks on each one of them.
Right.
And it's really difficult to incorporate that into my playing, I found.
Yeah.
But if you just give me that playground that I've been talking about and teach me kind of where to end and where to just give me a basic roadmap, I can kind of create that sound but still sound like me.
Yeah.
There was something was unlocked in me when I realized that just like language, music can be language is a really good metaphor for music.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to you and we're talking about animals at the zoo, and then out of nowhere I'm talking about NASA, and then out of nowhere I'm talking about quantum physics or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
these things are not related,
Right.
right? And so that's how you have to kind of treat a solo and how you kind of treat music.
Yeah.
And the videos that I've done explain how to do that. As far as like similar notes and similar phrasing with very slight variation.
Right.
And that is once I heard that information, I started listening to music completely differently. Right.
Right.
It was like, oh, this is what everybody is doing.
Right.
Right. All the music that I've deeply connected with, they all share this same thread of references within itself of itself.
Right.
That
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah. And it sounds like a complicated thought, but the way he explains it in the video, and again, it's like, okay, here's this motif, and it might be this 2-note thing.
Mhm.
And then you still want to be able to, it's like its cousin, it's cousin. So it's related, then its cousin will do something that's kind of similar. There's got like its wild cousin that may go a little bit different, but you come back to the family.
I'm so glad you watched the video,
I
Chris, because you are explaining it in like somebody that understands what I was talking
The
about.
first time I ever saw B.B. King, San Manuel was the old stage, and it was really just where people ate, and you couldn't turn the chairs
Mhm.
because you were just there for bingo, but he's playing up there. So you had to like halfway turn and kind of lean to realize that guy could do the most that any human being can do with these 2 moves.
Right,
And in those 2 moves,
right.
a whole story emanates.
And that's something that's so important to look at, right? There's this, I would get so addicted to watching videos about how to play through changes and how to use a triad and yada yada yada, and it's too much information. I'm being presented with too much information, and not enough nurturing to say, hey, this is a very small slice of this concept,
Yeah.
and this is how you implement it. Go implement it for a little while,
Right.
and then come back, and then let's work from there, right? And BB was the master of that. BB knew that he couldn't play super fast
Right.
pick style, and he also knew that his this left hand wasn't just this blazing thing. So he played really. He just had so much taste, right, and intuition, and that's what I want to help cultivate in people with this
Right.
series.
Understand that music is trial and error.
Yeah, right. So it's real tempting too when we listen to our favorite artists and we put on a CD and we're like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing that ever. This is the best thing ever, and they didn't mess anything up. And then when I start playing guitar and I flub a note or I flub vocals or something, and I go, oh, I guess that must mean I'm bad at this, right? Or
Right,
this
right.
must mean I'm not deserving of this cool experience that is in front of me. And that's just a big lie.
Yeah.
That's just a big lie. When you're listening on a CD, you are listening to somebody that took 10 million takes and they chose all of the best ones and they chopped them up together. There's a lot of how the sausage is made
Yeah.
magic that is involved in making a recording.
Sure.
And it's unfair to when I put that on myself to sound like that.
Right.
You know, when I'm just sitting down playing the guitar on my porch, right?
Right. Like, when I go back to the Lightin Hopkins thing, and you were kind of just showing this little, you had this metronome come up, and I go, yeah, okay.
Right, right.
Yeah, sure.
Right, this is the first step, and then we just need to know where the roots are at. So, right, just start ending on the root. Right, just so, but explaining how all of that works, right? Because it sounds cool. It's like a cool bluesy thing
Yeah.
that to hear hear somebody play, and to go, okay, cool. That's like cool blues music. I'll never be able to do that, right? I'll never be able to make that happen. And my whole goal is to be able to present this information in bite-sized chunks where people really can do it very quickly. Like, all the time, and it just breaks my heart. I hear people say things like, "Oh, I'm not talented" or whatever. I don't have that in me. That's my relatives play music, and I tried, but I can't do it. And I just don't believe that. I don't know that I've ever met anybody that is legitimately unable to play music.
Yeah.
I don't think that I have, I think that the only thing that gets in the way of that process is people just saying I can't do it.
Yeah.
And legitimately that hurts my soul. I don't like that. I don't like when people do that.
But what's then valuable about, I think, your series is that this is your answer to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say, hey, philosophically,
Yeah.
I don't believe that people can't be participants. So I'm going to break down, I mean, literally, if you go to the Lightin Hopkins one, he's going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to do that thing.
Playing like that and explaining it, breaking it down, in hopefully a way that makes sense, that isn't just monkey see, monkey do, maybe a little bit monkey see,
Yeah.
monkey do.
So,
And,
monkey involved.
Yeah, there's a monkey involved. It's pretty much every single one of the lessons has just been like, man, I really wish somebody would have presented the information to me in this way.
Yeah.
And maybe I could have let go of a lot of the tension about it.
Yeah.
Could have just been let go.
Dylan Olds, we're so glad that you're here, and really encourage folks to just go online and check out, some of these building blocks, and you'll be a better person for it. What the heck? Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Alright, Lightin Hopkins. Lightin Hopkins is one of those guys that has a sound that is pretty much ubiquitous with the blues. Ubiquitous? Ubiquitous? His sound is pretty much the definition of the blues when people think of it inside their head. That makes him a perfect starting place for people that want to get into this style or learn how to just sit down and play cool bluesy stuff, chilling on their porch in their underwear. I've been playing his style for about 10, 15 years or so, and the technique that I've used to break it down is something I call the pinch, pinchy, pinchy, pinch, and the tickle. Tickle, tickle. Step 1. Just like in the metronome video, we are going to set the BPM to 60, and we are going to pluck our thumb every time it beeps or clicks or honks or whatever crazy sound your metronome makes. Important note, part of this style is palm muting that E string. The way to kind of gauge how to do that is by going too much in either direction. Too far back and the note's just going to ring out. Too far forward and it's like going to not make any sound at all. You want to kind of back it up. Back it up. There we go. Step 2. This is where the pinch comes in. Follow the tab up on the screen and try and follow along with me. Beautiful. Big tip. Boom! If you're struggling with the BPM being at 60, you need to slow down. Probably the most important thing you'll ever learn when playing guitar is to learn how to adjust your learning to the pace that you learn at. I promise you the blues police are not going to kick down your door and call you a fraud. Another tip. When you get it down with your pointer finger, I want you to try doing the pinch with your middle finger. Part of this style is being able to use these 2 fingers and 3. I don't know how crazy you want to get, maybe even a toe. Step 3. Enter the tickle technique. Tickle, tickle. This one's going to go in between the thumbs. This one's going to go in between the plum. This one's going to go in between the thumb plucks. Set the BPM and start doing the tickle technique. 3, 4. I'm going to say the exact same tip again because it's so important. If the BPM's too fast, slow down. Step 4. Back-to-back pinching and tickling. Follow along with the tab. We're going to be putting the middle and ring of our left hand or the pointer and middle. Not really that concerned with it. I use the middle and the ring. 3, 4. Ultra, super, mega, hard mode if you're a beginner. Try this phrase out. 3, 4. Probably the second most important tip I'll ever give you. When you encounter a difficult phrase that you're trying to learn, it is crucial that you break them down into manageable chunks. So for this one, if you're having a difficult time, I want you to just take it one note at a time, right? So the very first one we see is that we are hitting the open and the 2, right? So just get this down. Right? Just get that down. And then you'll notice it slides to the 4. Break it down like this. Right? And the next one is the 3 on the B string. I cannot suggest enough that once you get the bulk of where the fingers go and which frets are actually being used, that you really shift awareness over to your ears and stop using your eyes to play music so much. This is something that's very difficult to do, and if you find that you're struggling with it, just know that you are not alone in that. Check out my other lessons if this one was something you were into. Otherwise, I love you. I don't love you. I don't know. Maybe I love you. Maybe I'll get to know you and I'll love you. I don't know. Have a good one. Bye.